Hi, Gerhard Bloom here, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So I'd like to look at Gavin Newsom's announcements telling the citizens of Florida to move to California because freedom is under attack in Florida. Who is Gavin Newsom, for those who don't know? He's the governor of Florida, the governor of California, right? And what freedoms are being attacked in Florida, allegedly? Well, the freedom of school teachers to poison your child with this toxic sex and gender ideology. And I've spoken about this before, right? Children, young children, elementary school children are being indoctrinated into this sexual ideology, this radical sex and gender ideology, and it's unambiguous. In the books available for these school children, there are graphic images and discussions of oral sex, anal sex, masturbation, mutual masturbation. This is being taught, or was being taught, to kindergartners and throughout the educational system, but starting with kindergartners. Now, in Florida, this has been banned, right, from kindergarten to grade 3. And I'm not offended by this at all. I think the only mistake was not to ban it throughout the entire schooling system. These are publicly paid for institutions. These are taxpayers. Taxpayers are paying for this poisonous ideology. And this transgender ideology, tens of thousands of young people are having their lives and their bodies destroyed. And this is definitely an epidemic. It's an epidemic, and you might be surprised to know that the greatest numbers of people coming out as trans are from blue states, right? This isn't equally distributed across the United States. No. You see the sharpest, most pronounced rise in this dysphoria in blue states that are the strongest advocates preaching this ideology. So, and abortion, right? The other thing that Florida is allegedly suppressing in terms of freedom is abortion. Well, Florida has a 15-week restriction. After 15 weeks, no abortion. And I know, because I've looked at the literature, from 12 to 15 weeks, this gestating child is neurally wired, right? And they can't feel pain, and this is a moral problem. So I think a 15-week restriction is reasonable. In fact, you could make the strong argument, and I would, that anything below past 12 weeks is deeply problematic and should not be allowed unless of medical emergencies, which are, by the way, extremely, extremely rare. So, no, freedom isn't being suppressed in Florida, and this poisonous ideology in California continues to be preached. Well, when I was a kid, there was a California dreaming, right? Everybody wanted to move to California, right? I remember reading Arnold Schwarzenegger's Education of a Bodybuilder as a young man. And a buddy and I were traveling through Europe on a rail, and he wanted to go to the home of Arnold Schwarzenegger, his birth home. It was in Graz, Austria. I said, do you know where it is? Do you know where Graz, Austria is? He says, no. I said, look at the map here. It's in the middle of nowhere. So this young Austrian kid, Hollywood ideals and movies and dreaming of one day making it to California. And he did make it to California. And I've been to California on several occasions. I haven't been there recently, and have no intentions of going there. But people once in the United States dreamt of moving to California, and people around the globe dreamt of moving to California. What's not to like? The palm trees, the oceans, the Pacific Coast Highway, the redwood forest, absolutely beautiful. Well, nobody's California dreaming today. Why? Because of disastrous California politics and legislations. As it happens, if I am not mistaken, this is unprecedented. What's unprecedented? People are leaving California in greater numbers than are arriving to California. That's right, people who can leave are leaving, right? The leftist policies are rapidly destroying the state. On virtually every conceivable metric, employment, crime, education, wealth distribution, homelessness, California is failing and failing fast. And although champagne liberals were once able to escape the chaos and dysfunction of their policies behind their gated communities and private security, the violence and social erosion is now reaching their doorsteps, right? And a couple of very pointed examples. People in wealthy communities, very wealthy homes, murdered by thugs, criminal thugs that should have been in jail and in any reasonable state would have been locked behind bars, keeping the public safe. But California, criminal thugs, lengthy career histories, including violence, are being let out on very low bail or no bail at all. Because if they're people of color, they're victims, right? They're the product of an oppressive, racist society, and they're victims. But what about the real victims, right? And a disproportionate number of the victims of black violent crime are blacks, poor blacks being preyed upon by criminal black thugs who should be behind bars. Their race and skin has absolutely nothing to do with it. So what are these leftists doing? Are they finally admitting fault and correcting course? Oh, no. They're doubling down, right? And they continue to fuel this social erosion by their disastrous policies. But for the rest of us, this should serve an example, right? We have a natural experiment going on in real time, right? In real time, people are moving to Florida and to other red states, and they're leaving leftist California behind them. And this should tell you everything you need to know about this ideology. This leftist ideology, you keep hearing that it's never been tried, right? Socialism has never been tried. It's been tried countless times. As Thomas Sowell points out, in terms of real-world experiments, socialism has been tried more than any other experiment in the real world. Compare East Germany to West Germany before the Berlin Wall fell. Compare Mao's China to China today, right? China had the sharpest reduction in poverty in human history just by getting out of the way, right? Just by getting out of the way with its disastrous socialist, communist policies. And this was after millions of people, tens of millions of people died. Compare the Soviet Union, its prosperity, to the prosperity of the United States and the freedoms. Oh, the United States is an oppressive, racist society. Millions were killed. Millions were sent to concentration camps. Hundreds of thousands murdered and tortured. And millions died in this absolutely unnecessary starvation in Ukraine, resulting from its attempt to collectivize the farms. Absolutely horrific. And just as people are voting with their feet, and not just individual citizens, corporations are moving out of California with its oppressive taxation rate and its anti-business policies, and moving to red states like Florida. And this was mirrored, this voting with the feet was mirrored in East Germany. Before the East Germans put up a wall separating East and West Germany, 2.5 million people fled East Germany. They had to put up a wall. They were telling the world, it's to protect their sovereignty. Except the rifles were all facing the wrong way, right? They were facing towards East Germany, and they were killing East Germans as they tried to flee the oppression that this utopian East German experiment was trying to enact, right? And compare North Korea to South Korea, right? Absolutely disastrous. Everywhere this has been tried, and in varying social circumstances. Venezuela was once the richest or one of the richest countries in South America. And very recently, it was at the very bottom of wealth and economic achievement, at the very bottom, from being the top to the very bottom, right? Absolutely horrific. So when Gavin Newsom tells you to come to California, particularly if you're living in a free state of Florida, you better think very carefully before doing so. California is like the Titanic. It is sinking, and sinking fast. At any rate, I discuss these and other important issues in my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. It's available on Amazon. It's not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues are important. Thank you so much for your time. And please do drop a thumbs up and subscribe. Bye-bye.